I'd pass out for like 3 seconds, I'd wake myself up, and then
We
it's
heard you
really hard to stay awake.
snoring.
Hard to stay awake?
Very hard.
Everybody else did.
She's snoring.
Yeah, like I'd snore, and I'd hear myself snore, I'd wake up.
So the other thing that your book was showing, and you guys would be following up with Swedish massage at this point, okay? So you'd be applying oil and then going into effleurage, petrissage, and then friction
Oh,
of the low back this afternoon.
So are we, question, are we looking like for the myofascial release, is that like half the hour and then the other like 45 minutes of how much work they need and then follow with Swedish, or is it?
For today,
Like for
yes. But in general, you're gonna make that decision. So we have LMP days coming up on February 2nd and 3rd. And we will, when they come in, I think I booked hour-and-a-half appointments this time, so you have more time with them. But let's see, I'm on the table for an hour and 15 minutes. You may want to do something like 30 minutes of myofascial release, maybe 45, because that's what we're studying right now.
Okay.
And then follow up with Swedish. Same with your clients over the weekend. So what I wanted to show you about was leg pulling, and I took out the bolster so you can start to see the change in the joints. So here, I can just hold the back of the leg, remembering that when we were talking about the back line, it starts at the plantar fascia, goes up through the Achilles tendon, gastroc soleus, through the hamstrings, up the paraspinals, over the top of the head, down through SCM, the sternum, rectus abdominis to the pubis, quads, and then back down the front of the foot. So I'm holding the back line here, long story short. And what I'm starting to pull, so when I pull, you can pull very gently and just start to see a very small opening at the ankle. I'm literally just pulling with my hands, and you'll see a small opening. And then if I pull just a little bit more, then my movement is gonna come up to the knee, and that joint's gonna move slightly. And if you're not certain if you're doing it, it's such a slight motion that it takes to actually decompress the joint. You can put your hand on the either sides of the knee so you can feel it opening until you get used to that motion of how much or how little it takes. I'm using very little strength. I'm just pulling the fascia. So then the next one is all the way up to the hip. Okay, so for this one so here's the ankle, here's the knee, decompressing, and then bam, I'm up to the hip, and that's decompressing. And it doesn't take much. Now you can hold that sustained stretch. For you guys, I'm going to ask you to start to use it as an assessment, and now I can keep pulling, and this is going up through her QL and up through her paraspinals. So you can feel that motion on people, and then move to the other side, remembering that I released this side, right, when she was in a prone position. So now on this side, I'm going to look at the ankle, and then feel right there's the knee decompressing, and then the hip. And you can see the movement in the sheet when you're at the hip. And then I'm going to pull from the hip like I was. And I stop. Right about there. Like I literally can't pull any farther. And I'm going to go back to the other side so Zola can feel a difference.
There's a lot more give.
You guys see that I'm keeping going? Right. There's a lot more give on one side to the other. And so when somebody is first laying down, if you're not sure, let's say they were talking the whole time about something very exciting and you get them on the table and you're like, oh my gosh, which side of their back is tight? This is an assessment process for fascia. And so you can come down and you can do the same thing at the arm. We'll look at the wrist, the elbow, and the shoulder, and the neck, but you can really assess about which side might be more restricted than the other and where that might be. So a lot of times if I have people come in with a knee injury or something like that, then that's where that block will be. And I can get up to the knee, but then that's it. And I won't feel any decompression all the way up until I release the knee, and then I can come back and then feel the hip on the next one. All right. And there's so much more, but I think that that's enough for today. And so I'd like to go ahead and stop there.